Today's video is on WildPCS. So every time I do a practical board repair school, we have a student that attended WildPCS. For those of you who are unfamiliar with WildPCS is a school that teaches repair. And every time I walk over to somebody and go, "What did you just say?" in response to something like, "Yeah, we were taught that you take the heat gun like this in the holder and you cover this part of the board in aluminum foil and then you wait for the charge port to fall out." I'm like, ah. I mean, I used to complain about people doing BGA reflows and calling it fixed. Doing a BGA reflow on a 2011 MacBook Pro, that is fucking Mensa level compared to the shit that I'm hearing people tell me they learned at WildPCS. So here's what I'd like to do. Universally, when I went to CTIA, when I talked to people who came to our course, who went to the WildPCS course, when I just read on the internet, I read WildPCS's bullshit. What I'd like to do is, instead of have that basic general idea that WildPCS is bullshit, I want to actually understand why it's bullshit. So here's what I'm going to ask from all of you. If you went to WildPCS, don't leave a comment, but click on my name on the channel, then click on About, then click Send Message. Send me a message with this format. I went to WildPCS and they taught me X, where X is what they actually taught you. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to read a lot of your messages on this channel, and I want to share what it is they actually teach, and I think that we could all get a kick out of some of this. So again, if some of the things that I'm hearing are actually true, if they are true, then I think this would be really entertaining stuff. And you know, one of the things that got me into education and teaching board repair, it wasn't really me wanting to be a teacher, nor was it even really, really about the money. The money had to be there because I am traveling, I'm leaving my business for a week. Whoever wants instant board repair that week, I'm not offering it, I'm losing that money, so that money has to be compensated for by teaching and the revenue that comes from teaching. But I am not a professional professor. I am not a professional teacher, nor have I ever claimed to be as such. But what I have claimed to be is somebody who has a good level of knowledge in the field. And that's what I'm offering. So for months and months, I kept saying, I don't want to do this because, even in spite of all these emails where people are like, "I'll give you $1,000 or $2,000 to spend a few days at your store and have you walk me through this," I feel like people's expectations are going to be a little bit different. So I'm very good at talking to a camera. I'm very good at frameworking my video in steps so that you can follow along with what I'm doing so that you can learn something from my video. Further, my video is going to seem positive and amazing in contrast to the other pieces of content out there on motherboard repair. And the other pieces of content on motherboard repair are really, they're non-existent. There's nobody else doing these walkthroughs on YouTube. So my content seems great in contrast to nothing. However, a lot of you have been to college, a lot of you have been to high school, a lot of you have taken courses, so you're used to what a proper teaching experience is like from well-trained educators with real-world experience in the field of education. Whereas I have no experience as a teacher. I have none. I've never claimed to be a teacher. I've never claimed to have great experience as a teacher. What I claim to be able to do is explain how these advanced circuits work so that if you've been confused on how a specific circuit works, I can tell you here's how it works, and then also I can watch you as you work. I can watch where your fuck-ups are so that I can kind of get you to stop fucking up. So what I'm teaching you are the little tips and the little ways that I go about solving problems. I'm trying to teach you my mindset, and I'm trying to impart onto you what it is you're doing wrong through watching you. So, some person said, "I can't get rid of this bridge." And this is one of the things with the whole idea of an online course that I never really understood. There are YouTube videos that are free. And if you want you want to be able to really show me what you're doing, I can't do that over the internet, But this one person couldn't get rid of a short, and he was using the iron like this. And I said, "How about trying it like this? Because then you have a much greater area. So it's the same amount of heat, same 750 degrees, but distributed over a much wider area. The solder is going to get sucked up onto the heat source. So there's not a lot of heat here, but there's a lot of heat here." And fixed it. That's the cool part. That's what I can do for you. And that's something that I can offer. And if you're okay with that, that's great. If you want to learn from somebody that has 10 years of teaching experience, I'm not your guy. But what I am offering, and the reason I really got into this was because there's so much misinformation. So there is literally no option. If you had $20,000 right now and you want to go out and learn the really complicated laptop and cell phone motherboard repair, you can have that $20,000 and there's not going to be anybody who's teaching it. So even though I am not the best teacher, even though I don't see myself as a professor, at the very least, there's an option for that information to be distributed. There's an option for that information to be available. There's somebody who knows how the ISL circuit works. There's somebody who can explain to you how a CPU V-core circuit works on an 820-3115. There's somebody who can explain to you how to figure out which power rail turns on first, what the importance of having a reset signal is prior to measuring signals coming out of the SMC. And that's really sad. And WildPCS is one of those schools that really pushed me forward in promoting something remotely resembling proper education. And I really want to know what the fuck it was that this place has been teaching for the past several years. Because I'm always a little leery when I see that somebody is providing education in a field without being actively involved with it. So one of the things I'll say about Jessa in Practical Board Repair School is that Jessa teaches advanced cell phone diagnostics and soldering, primarily on iDevices, and she's actively involved and engaged in the fields of cell phone data recovery and liquid damage repair and connector repair and all that good stuff. So she's actually every day doing what it is that she's teaching. So, some people have said, well, they have a school, whereas Jess is teaching out of a hotel or a golf course. So they have a proper setup with everything set up in advance, whereas Jess is like dragging all the stuff out of her truck. One of the things that I'll propose here is that the reason that they have that setup is because they don't have to worry about actual work. Like, they're not interrupting their livelihood to teach you. Their livelihood is teaching you that which they do not do. Whereas with Jessa and myself, we sit here having to go through all this crap every day. So when we are going out to teach, we have to figure out how to put our lives on hold, how to put our businesses on hold, which very well will make a lot of people unhappy, and shift everything over to teach. And that's, that can be challenging. And that is going to be a little bit different than a school setup. But I digress. I kind of forgot where I was going on this tangent. So please do send me a message if you were a graduate of WildPCS with what it is you learned. I want to hear, hi, when I went to WildPCS, I learned X. And I'm really, really interested to hear what it is that X actually is. If I find it to be interesting or of note, I will include it in this video series where I read all of your messages on what it is that you learned while at WildPCS.